All right, so we're picking up where we left off last time. This is the third installment in my series on the art of war, the Sun Tzu Bingfa. So last time we saw that Sun Tzu was offering up 5 different ways which he gauges the way that military conflicts are going on. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So what were they? They were the Tao, or the way, Tian, or heaven, Di, or earth, Jiang, or general, like the general, the person, the general, or number 5, Fa, which is art or method. Now, what we're going to see starting today is some explanations on Sun Tzu's side for what he means by those 5 different things. The first of which was Dao, or way. And if you remember, so Dao might be written DAO, or it might be written TAO. It's the same Dao or way of Taoism, right? Now, in the case of Sun Tzu, it might be a little bit different from, say, another text like the Tao Te Ching or Zhuangzi. Now, if you remember from previously, 'zhe' is a nominal marker and also oftentimes a topic marker. And actually, in this situation, we have a single topic, Dao, or Daozhe, followed by several different comments. So the things on this side are comments related to this topic. So we can actually split this up at these commas here, and each of these is a comment that could potentially stand alone if you wished. So we have comment 1, comment 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So at the beginning here, our topic is just the way, right? And then we're going to be making comments about the way. The first one has a lot of grammar for us to work through. The first one is ling. The second one is yu. And then the rest kind of just flows around those two points. The first one, ling, is a causative. So ling means to cause, literally. So if you have ling followed by a noun, followed by a verb, that means to cause the noun to verb. Okay? To cause N to V, right? Now, you can extend that to add another noun after the verb. So it could be to cause the first noun to verb the second noun, meaning do something to something, right? So in this case, we actually have that. So we have ling, cause who? Min. So min is something like people, sometimes translated as the people. So cause people to what? So we're going to skip over this other grammar point briefly before we come back to it. So here's actually the verb that goes along with this noun, tong. So tong means same. And when you place it in the position of being a verb, it means to make the same or to have the same, to cause something to have the same, right? So here we have cause the people to be the same in what? Here's this second noun, E. E is something like intention. Okay? Intention. So we're causing the people to have the same intention, to unify their intentions. Now, this other grammar point that we have here, yu, in this case, yu, noun, means with noun. So this is answering the question of same as what? Same as who? In this case, we have shang. So if you're familiar with Chinese at all, or maybe even Japanese or some other East Asian languages, you recognize this as being above or top. In this case, it means those above, the people above, so your superiors. So in the case of a just general military man, it could be with the general. Like if it's, say, like an infantry, it could be his shang, or superior could be like the general. Or in the case of like a general, his superior could be something like the king or the emperor, right? So in this case, this is probably something like the leader, the emperor, the king. So it's actually talking about like the people that are controlling the military should have their intentions the same as those of the emperor or the king. So what does the Tao do? The Tao causes the people to have the same intention as their superiors, or perhaps as their king. Okay. So that's our first comment. Not too bad. So our second comment is actually basically the same as the third comment. So the grammar of these two are going to be identical, just with different contents. So the first thing that we have to talk about is a grammar point, 可. 可 plus a verb means that it can verb. So noun, 可, verb, means that the noun can verb. Okay, so now this is a little bit interesting because actually the topic of this is actually not Tao. It's actually not the way. Because if we break this apart, let's look at what this means first, and then we'll see why that the topic can't be the way. It's got to be something else. So can, then this yu is the same yu that we saw over here in the first section. That just means with what? With zhi. If you remember that zhi is a placeholder from before, that means that it's representing something else. And then here we have death, 死, or to die. Okay, to die, or death. Okay, over here quickly, the only thing that's different about this second phrase is the last character, 生, which means to live in this case. It can also mean something like to be born or alive. So here we have something that's, we're not told, something can with something die. Something again can with something live. Okay, so what is zhi and what is the something at the very beginning? So actually, these two are talking about what we saw here. So in this phrase, we saw that the people have the same intention as the king or as their superiors. So what we're actually seeing here is that the people, so min is going to go here and here. We're going to insert it, min. Oops, messed up that one a little bit. Min can with who? With shang, again, with their leader. Okay, so the people can with their leader die. The people can with their leader live. That means is that because they have the same intention, they're willing to live or die with their leader. So if their leader wants to go into battle, they're going to disregard whether or not they're going to come out the other side alive or not and follow them regardless, right? So nice, pretty simple phrases, but you'll notice that, so the topic can't be the way. The topic is actually min, coming from the previous statement, right? So if we wanted to break this down, we would basically have min, that's our topic, and then whatever we saw here is the comment for that topic, right? So we have a different topic for this comment. And it's assumed. You'll notice that the author does not actually explicitly state what the topic is going to be. You have to get it from the context. Okay. Now this last section here that we have starts with what is basically a conjunction. It's a coordinating term, are. This can mean many, many different things. It can mean and, it can mean then, stuff like that. Many different things depending on the context. In this case, it basically means and then. And so what we see first here is 不. That is a negation. Okay, we've already talked about that before. It is a verbal negation, which means that 不 plus a verb means not verb. So what's the verb that we have? The verb that we have is 畏. This means to fear. Okay, this means to fear. So you're kind of probably seeing the picture come together here. We saw they'll die, they'll live with him. So what are they doing? They're not fearing 畏 danger. Oops, that was a little bit of a mistake. It's fine. Danger. So what we see is, if we bring all of this together, the 畏 causes the people to unite their intention with their leader. They can, with their leader, die. They can, with their leader, live, and not fear danger. Okay, that's the whole thing coming together as to how Sun Tzu views the 畏 as being instrumental to understanding the way that a conflict is going to come out at the end. And then we're going to finish this just with ye, which we've seen several times already. Ye is a predicate marker sometimes. Sometimes it indicates explanation. But in this case, it basically acts as both. It marks a predicate as opposed to the topic. Here we have the topic 这, and then a whole bunch of predicate 也. Because all of this is referring back to Tao. It's just within that we have some deeper structure that we had to break down. But it's also kind of explaining that, okay, we have the 畏 causing the people to unite in their intention with the leader. Why do we care about that? Because it then causes the people to be willing to live or die and disregard danger in support of their leader. But yeah, so that's the first term that we're going to be covering. And then in the next video, I'm going to very quickly go through the rest of them because the sentence structures of the subsequent entries are actually much more simple than this one. This is the one with the most grammar, and later on it'll be much more kind of A equals B. So we'll see that in the next video.